The betrayal was silent, but it spoke louder than words. Ilara had always believed trust lived in the small things. The way someone remembered your coffee order without asking, the quiet text after a difficult day, the unspoken agreement to keep certain doors closed. For 12 years, those small things had defined her friendship with Nadia. They met in their early 20s at a small publishing house, both junior editors with the same impossible dreams: literary success, financial breathing room, a life where words mattered more than margins. They survived lean seasons together, shared rent when manuscripts were rejected, late-night line edits over cheap wine, mutual alibis when one needed to vanish for a weekend. When Ilara's mother died, Nadia stayed through 3 sleepless nights without once reaching for her phone. When Nadia's marriage collapsed, Ilara helped pack the boxes and never pressed for details. Over time their paths separated gently, predictably. Ilara moved to a quiet suburb, married Paul, an architect with steady hands and steadier routines, and had Lila, who turned 6 last spring. Nadia stayed in the city, climbed faster, became the editor who lunched at restaurants without prices on the menu. They still spoke weekly, still met when calendars aligned. The friendship felt solid, like furniture built to last. The first quiet shift arrived in an email. Nadia had been drafting a novel she called Quietly Devastating. She sent Ilara the opening chapters one January night with the subject, "Don't hate me if it's awful." Ilara read them on her phone in the car outside ballet class. The prose was clean, the voice pure Nadia, wry, watchful, faintly bruised. But the story centered on 2 women, once inseparable, now divided by ambition. One remained small, rooted, safe. The other left, succeeded, and rarely glanced back. The rooted woman felt the loss like a phantom limb but told herself it was only natural drift. Ilara replied the next morning, "This will wound people who love you. In the truest way." Nadia sent back 3 laughing emojis and, "That's the plan." Months slid past. The novel sold at auction for a sum whispered about in industry group chats. The deal announcement included a photo of Nadia smiling beside her agent on a rooftop. Ilara texted congratulations. Nadia called the following afternoon, voice already polished for interviews. "You'll get an early copy," she promised. First reader, obviously. The early copy never came. Ilara bought the finished book on release day. She read it slowly, over 3 evenings, while Paul watched soccer in the next room and Lila slept upstairs. The novel had sharpened. The rooted woman, now called Mara, carried Ilara's small habits, the precise way she folded laundry while thinking, the ritual of measuring coffee grounds, the childhood memory of losing her first dog in the woods behind her grandmother's house. Mara's husband was an architect who designed libraries few people entered. Their daughter pressed flowers between the pages of heavy books. Ilara closed the hardcover and sat in the dark living room a long time. She did not confront Nadia. Confrontation would have demanded raised voices, tears, explanations, none of which their friendship had ever required. Instead she waited to see what Nadia would do. Nadia did almost nothing. A month after publication she posted one Instagram photo, the book on a cafe table beside a latte art heart, captioned simply, "Grateful." Ilara was not tagged. She was not mentioned in profiles or podcasts. When an interviewer asked about real-life inspiration, Nadia spoke vaguely of people I've loved and drifted from, then steered toward technique. Ilara kept the silence she had learned during difficult edits. Observe, note, wait. Then came the second small choice. Paul's firm won the bid to redesign the downtown library. The project included a reading series, and the program director asked if Ilara, now freelancing with a quiet but respected reputation, would moderate the inaugural event. The author was Nadia. Ilara said yes before the hesitation could settle. They met for coffee the week before to prepare questions. Nadia arrived 20 minutes late, coat expensive, hair perfect. She hugged Ilara as though the months apart had been nothing. "You look well," she said, meaning settled, suburban. "You look busy," Ilara answered, meaning distant, successful. They discussed the book like colleagues. Structure, tone, audience response. Nadia never acknowledged Mara's resemblance to anyone real. Lara never asked. The event drew a full room. Nadia read from the closing chapter, where Mara sits alone in her kitchen long after the other woman has moved away. Listeners sighed in recognition. Ilara asked measured questions about loneliness, about the courage required to write what hurts. Nadia answered with practiced charm. Afterward, the signing line stretched. Ilara waited at the side. When the last reader left, Nadia approached. "Thank you for doing this," she said softly. "It meant something." Lara nodded. "It was a strong reading." "Beep. You didn't ask the question I expected," Nadia said. "Which one?" "Whether Mara is based on someone real." Ilara met her eyes. "I already knew." Nadia's smile flickered, then steadied. "Art is theft," she said, the old line they used to toss between them. "Only if you don't leave a note," Ilara replied. They stood in the half-darkened room. A volunteer switched off the overhead lights. "I never meant to hurt you," Nadia said. "You didn't," Ilara told her. "You just used what was already there." Another silence. "Are we still friends?" Nadia asked. Ilara considered it honestly. "I think we're people who were once friends," she said. "And that's enough." Nadia nodded once, as though she had braced for exactly those words. They did not embrace goodbye. Ilara drove home through sleeping streets. The porch light glowed when she pulled in, Paul's quiet habit when she worked late. Inside, Lila had dozed off on the couch with a picture book open on her chest. Ilara carried her upstairs, tucked her in, kissed the soft hair at her temple. Downstairs again, she poured water and stood at the kitchen window staring into the yard. She thought about the small things that once bound them. Shared silences, remembered details, the ease of being fully seen. She thought how effortlessly those same things could be borrowed, reshaped, repackaged as someone else's story. The betrayal carried no shouting, no public scene. Only a sequence of quiet decisions. A character drawn too close to life, an acknowledgement never offered, a line left unwritten, a question deferred until it no longer mattered. Choice had weight. Ilara finished her water, turned off the light, climbed the stairs. Paul stirred as she slid beneath the covers. "Everything all right?" he murmured. She rested her head against his shoulder. "Yes," she said. "Just thinking." He kissed her hair and drifted back to sleep. In the dark, Ilara listened to the house breathe. Somewhere in the city, a book containing her habits and her private grief was still being read by strangers. Somewhere else, a friendship had ended. Not with noise, but with the soft, final click of a door that would never swing open quite the same. The betrayal had been silent, but it had spoken clearly enough.